With the 24th pick, the Dallas Cowboys select.
It's another week. It's another day. And today is the day of days. All right. The first dominoes have fallen here around the NFL. We're going to talk about a lot of news of the day. We'll talk about the Cowboys strategy as far as what this roster is going to look like before we get to the draft. Okay. And then we're going to talk about some draft stuff and we'll close it out with a 5-round mock draft, guys. So shout out to everybody joining live. If you're watching this on the replay, make sure you guys pound that like button, hit subscribe, and hit the bell for all notifications so you know when all new content comes out, guys. So shout out to everybody, like I said, and we're going to get right into it. All right, guys. So Mike won't be here today. He's has a family matters to take care of, so we'll catch him on the next show. So it'll be me here. I did invite Space Cowboy, so we'll see if he's able to make it here in a little bit. So, but before that, let's talk about the news of the day. All right. So, as far as the dominoes fell for the Cowboys, Dalton Schultz officially tagged. You know that deadline was today, so we got that news there. Very it's one of those topics where you people are almost like hating on Dalton Schultz, which to me it's a bizarre thing. But I get the frustration. I definitely get the frustration from fans, on this. But I myself personally, I'm a Dalton Schultz fan. I was there when he got drafted live there in 2018, AT&T Stadium. So I like him. Like I said, he's the escape hatch for Dak Prescott. I didn't see him leaving. You know what I mean? They just can't take all the weapons from Dak Prescott, right? They got to have somebody that's reliable. And this is Dak Prescott's Jason Witten. You know what I mean? So now, by no means does this stop the Cowboys from drafting or adding another tight end to the roster, because I think they will need to. Blake Jarwin looks like his career is probably over with the hip injuries. He just can't stay healthy. So that really just leaves Dalton Schultz and Sean McEwen, who not the most durable either, if we're being quite honest. Comes in and out the lineup, misses a lot of time, but he showed some promise. I think they can still develop him. But from what I'm hearing, the Cowboys, they still might dip their feet, in the tight end market here for the draft. So loaded draft class here for the tight ends, and I think you add a 1-2 punch. You're going to help out this offense. It's going to need help. Assuming that Amari Cooper is in fact going to be traded or released. That's a major missing weapon. And we've seen how this team operates without Amari Cooper. It's been a big struggle, but a lot of pressure on a young CeeDee Lamb to take that torch, and do 88 things. They gave you the 88 number. The 88s here in Dallas have a storied history of being big time contributors, number one wide receivers for the team. Whether it's Drew Pearson, Michael Irvin, Dez Bryant, and I guess CeeDee Lamb. Okay. We did have Antonio Bryant. He had a little stint here as well. And even he was a little bit of a number one for a season or so. So 88, a lot of pressure there. So I think he can do it. You know what I mean? But it's projection still. It's still projection. So it's still a little bit of a question mark. You know what I mean? Now, the Cowboys, they did sign a 1-year deal. Noah Brown. Now, how exciting is that? So I think you just have to add bodies at this point, right? So they're familiar with the player. He's actually finally kind of developed into a role player on this team, special teams player, and can give you a couple of snaps here in rotation, wide receiver. They're going to try to sign Cedric Wilson, but they're going to let him test out the free agent market, bring back a number. Do the Cowboys want to deal in that number? We'll see. If not, they'll look at probably Malik Turner and maybe some outside free agent type of guys on 1-year deal. So leading up to the draft, it's safe to say that the wide receiver core is going to look a little bit like a wide receiver by committee type of deal. and hopefully they'll nail that down. You know what I mean? So I don't think it's the end of the world by any means, but they gotta answer. They gotta answer the fans because right now a lot of us are out here with the pitchforks ready to raid the star, right? Because they put themselves in this position. You know what I mean? They put themselves in this position. So bad contracts all over the place. Bloated them up by kicking them. By restructuring and this sorts of things. So that's where we're at. You know what I mean? And it's the Cowboy way. We see other teams operate the cap a little bit different than the Cowboys. Cowboys just don't know what the hell they're doing, man. You would like to see the Cowboys get draft picks for players. You know what I mean? And I'm still going to say this: that if they don't get anything for Amari Cooper and they end up just releasing him, they need to never trade again. All right, because that'll be three receivers where they screw up, where they make trade for multiple picks and don't get shit for it. So they don't get a pick. That's a big black eye for the front office if they don't get anything for Amari Cooper. DeMarcus Lawrence, it's same kind of deal. They're either going to release him or they're going to let him stay and eat the money and figure things out. But for him, I don't think they'll be able to get any pick for him. He's just a little bit older player, obviously, and on the back half of his career. You know what I mean? So we'll see what they do there, man. But there's a lot of questions leading up to the draft, right? Like Randy Gregory, you would assume that if they don't sign, if they let go of DeMarcus Lawrence, you would assume that they would, chip in some of that money for Randy Gregory. But like we're talking here, you don't want to overpay and you don't want to give a big ass contract because in another year or two, we're in the same conversation. Like, oh, we're letting go of Randy Gregory. We gave him, a whole bunch of money and now he's gone. So I myself have said a 2-year deal. I'm hearing numbers anywhere from 10 to $12 million. I think Randy Gregory's camp wants more than that, but I don't know that you really want to pay a whole bunch of money, for that right now. So front office, just struggling still with contracts. I would like the Cowboys to take the strategy of some of these other teams where they can strike while they still have talent, while they still have draft capital available for some players. I mean, look what Seattle got for Russell Wilson. You know what I mean? We'll see what the Cowboys do in a couple years, but if you were able to do that in 3 years or so with Dak Prescott and flip that for a whole bunch of picks, that would be ideal. But what the Cowboys do is, they continue to do wacky, quacky things with the contracts, and they get nothing for the players. So it's a crazy deal. It's a crazy deal. Space Cowboy in the house. Let me add him to the stream here. Space,
What's going on, Joe Rod? How you doing?
we're good, man. We're good. Glad you can make it here a little bit of a last minute,
Yeah, it's all
but
good.
always coming in with the clutch, man. Shout out to you, Space. Appreciate you, bro.
Yeah, not a problem.
Yeah, man. So I'm just hitting up on the latest topics of the day, and man, I really want to get your take on on some of this stuff. So I'll ask you, what is your thought on where they're at with these contracts? Particularly Amari, D Law. We're tagging Schultz. So how do you feel the front office is doing right now?
um, about what I expected. I mentioned it on my channel. I would say like a couple days before this stuff went down, I said, "Don't be shocked." It's like there was the rumor circulating. I've heard from inside that this is what they want to do. With the whole Amari thing, it's a bit more ambiguous. It's more likely that he comes back than D-Law, and it's because of Michael Gallup. Because from what we're hearing, like they were $6 million off. From what I heard, they offered him 6.5 million a year. I don't know the exact years on it, but it was probably like a Terrence Williams like contract, which has been insulting in my opinion. But
Yeah.
I think that this is kind of what, like, I understand why everyone's upset. I mean, I'm upset with what I'm hearing is going on, but like the fact that I expected this to happen is even more disappointing because it's like, so you say you're not bringing back your Pro Bowl punter, you say that you're not possibly bringing back Randy Gregory and all this other stuff, so you have to find a way to make this all make sense. Like I like Dalton Schultz, but is he really a top 5 tight end in the league? The way I look at Schultz or the tight end group is similar to your wide receivers. Like you have to pay these guys if they are generational talents at their position or like top of the top. And I don't think Schultz is that. He kind of like gives me that vibe of like a Dallas Goedert type of tight end where he's solid, but like he's not like a all type of, like a George Kittle or anything like that.
Yeah.
I think, and you've touched on it, I think it's stupid how they want to try and move on from Amari Cooper without getting any value back. If there's a year you want to get a receiver, this is going to be the year to do it. Like you could legit double down at receiver, and I wouldn't be upset with that. But it's just there's so many moving parts in this, Joe. Like I couldn't even it's so much and it's still unfolding before us right now. So.
Yeah, exactly. It's kind of like these are just kind of the first dominoes that are kind of still, swaying, and when are they actually going to fall with Amari and D-Law? We'll see. But yeah, there is. I mean, they put themselves in this position. You mentioned the punter. I don't think anybody even thought that was going to be, news. But it's like here we go. This guy, like they don't even have enough to bring him back. So kind of pathetic. I did see Coach Fossil there. I think it was the last day where they were doing drills, and he was there looking at the punters.
There are a couple guys I like.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they had one guy that was doing punts and field goals and all kinds of crazy crap. But I don't know. I have a hard time spending a draft pick on a special team player. But we're seeing this team do some goofy stuff, so nothing would really surprise me at this point. But
I think the only justification, because there's a couple, I don't mind drafting a punter. I think you just have to know the value you're getting. Like if you're going to keep the guy for 4 years and he's the guy, like again, like if you're using a 7th or 6th round pick, no one's going to care. Like get someone that is going to be a vital player. Same thing with kicker. Like me personally, I'd rather draft a kicker than a punter, but I don't really see any guys that you can draft as at kicker right now. But
for sure. Safety position, we're talking about Jaron Curse as far as what's the market going to command for him. They didn't use a tag there, so he might test the market out. There's no guarantee, that he comes back and then all of a sudden that group is really thin. You got an injury prone Donovan Wilson and a mixed bag of other people. You know what I mean? So. Getting thin all over the place, but they're clearing up some money. They're restructured. Dak Prescott and Zach Martin. Those opens up. I think they said $22 million there. So you get the 22 there. If you do something with Coop and D-Law, I mean, you could have some money there to actually play if you want to, but. And I wouldn't get my hopes up. You know what I mean? I know people talk about, let's bring in this guard. Let's bring in the honey badger. This team does not do that kind of stuff. I would love that. I would love the honey badger, but would they do that?
No, and that's kind of where I stress, people, when they went to D-Law about the pay cut, and I did the video, and I think not to be like this to some people that watch my stuff, they were missing the point of what I was getting at. It's one thing when we want to criticize the player for the production, but ultimately, who's giving them the money? It's the organization. They're the ones that are failing to pay these guys until the last minute, and now they're like, well, we think you're this much, and it's like, are you even trying? Like the Cowboys right now are, I believe, $8 million in the hole, given the fact that the restructures, they just tagged Schultz and they just re-signed Noah Brown, but that's whatever.
Yeah,
but. And this is the thing, if you feel like you're going to go bargain basement shopping, just restructure Cooper and maybe just cut Anthony Brown and go from there. What are you going to do with $20 million in cap space? Just sit on it and act like you're going to pay your guys, which you're not. And I mean, I'm not sure if you touched on it, but I'm not a big fan of cutting a player and then paying worse players.
Mm-hmm.
That's no insult to Michael Gallup. That's no insult to Cedric Wilson and those guys. But why would I downgrade or rather just save $5-10 million when I know they're not going to spend that money towards something else, and you get a less player out of it, and now you're just back in that predicament. You got CeeDee Lamb's contract coming up. You're going to do the same thing with him. And the big thing is that propaganda. They try to, make the player seem terrible.
Oh, yeah.
And that's the thing that bugs the hell out of me. And it's like everything's playing out just like I envisioned it, which is not a good thing.
Yeah. I am glad that more of us are kind of exposing this or, realizing what this team does. So, shout out to a lot of the content creators, you and everybody else, here at the channel too. So you got to expose this team for what it is. I mean, they're just bumbling crap left and right. Like you said, they handle contracts very, very poorly here. Overpay, paying at the last second, getting, bent over and taken hostage and paying your running back before your quarterback. That to me, that's where all this crap just really just took a nosedive. Like, who does that?
Right, and that's the thing is like however you feel on the player, that's one thing. But at the same time, like if you feel like the player isn't worth the market value, then pay them before the market goes up. That's how this thing works in any sport. I don't care how you twist it. However you feel on Dak, Zeke, or whoever, I'm not blaming the player for getting their money because ultimately Stephen Jones, like, and I said this on my channel, I'm like, listen, if you feel like you don't want the guy because he's asking for too much money, then let him go. If you're really like that. Like, I'm not going to be sitting here arguing that decision, but if you are electing not to do that, then you had to find a way to replace that player sufficiently. Yeah. Don't just sit on your hands and just be like, well, the pie, at the end of the day, this is how much we can do. Like, all those dumb things that he says, or here's the thing. The one thing that caught me the most, and I'm glad he said this, he said, well, we could do it, but I'm not going to because it's going to cause trouble down the road. But that's being, again, disingenuous because that's not how anyone else in the league conducts business. We're the only team that really conducts business the way we're doing.
It really is. And you can almost calculate what's going to happen for anybody that gets new contracts moving forward. Mm-hmm. They're not going to finish the full length of the contract. I could see it. I could see scenarios here where they pay Gallup a 4-year deal, and he probably just gets two of it, and they cut him. And we're in the same thing. The same for, Gregory. If they go longer than 2 years, I could see where they don't pay him the full contract. And Lamb, Diggs, Micah. I mean, we got big time contracts that are.
And really, you could even look at the quarterback. Like even the quarterback, like just. They aren't like I know with Tony it was one thing, but they're not feeling that same way with Dak, especially with how that contract negotiation went down. So Steven and Todd France are at it, and I like I said, I wouldn't be shocked if it's going to be the same thing in 4 years, which is irritating because I don't like seeing this crap happen. Because again, if you don't want to keep the player, let him go. If you want to keep the player, just restructure them. And I know that sounds like easier said than done, but all you're doing is you're tacking that person to be there for 2 years and you're saving money in the immediate. But the thing that's alarming is you're not spending the money. And we're not asking for these, all these top tier free agents. We're just asking for signings that can plug holes sufficiently so that we're not going to the draft. And we're saying, well, we need to draft 5 different positions because we need them,
Yeah, and I think that'll definitely be what happened. I mean, we're kind of used to this strategy where they'll do this, and this is just a cycle that they cut people, bring in low level guys on week 3 and 4, and you know what I mean. Mm-hmm. So we have no action in the tampering week. we're not one of those teams. Week 1, I mean the major ones. We're just chilling, watching everything go by. So I'm sure they'll fill in, like you said, the time about Dante Fowler and some of these other guys 1-year deals. So these are the types of guys that they're going to bring in here just to get you prepped for the draft, which, they like to really lean on the draft here, and
Hmm.
they are good, but they have missed on,
Yeah.
some guys as well. But talking about draft space, let's talk about the combine here, and
Hmm.
I'm
I'm pulling
gonna
up my stuff too.
I'm gonna pull up my little chart here that I got that I've
Sure.
rated my top five. So the edge rushers, I really like what Trevon Walker did there at the combine. Just kind of confirmed a lot of what people have been saying about him and what he's done on the field for Georgia. So his stock is going up for me, but I feel good about this stack here. Thibodeau, I didn't like that Thibodeau didn't work out, and there was rumors that he said he was, and then he didn't. So I don't know. That's kind of not good, bro.
Yeah. Absolutely not.
Yeah. What did you think about Trevon Walker? Did you get to watch the combine space? I think you were,
I
right?
wa- it's funny because I actually I had the chance to watch it while I was at work. We had all the TVs on, so I'm kind of like keeping an eye out. Um, I really liked pretty much I liked every Georgia defender. Like any
Yeah.
of the Georgia defenders, I could argue you can draft.
Right.
And uh, I kind of look at it this way. Like at edge, I would really like Jermaine Johnson. He's one of my pet cats there because of the value. I think with
Yeah.
Kayvon, like when I don't know. I mean, like at first, I kind of have those weary vibes with him because
Right.
talent wise he's there, but like then I'm kind of like watching things go the way they are, and I'm like, I don't know, you know. So like, I mean, I think he still gets picked in the top five because of his talent, but I would say that's just keep an eye out on him.
Oh, for sure, for sure. Defensive tackles was. I think this was my favorite night of the combine, where these guys. Um, I still have these ranked as this. I just think that Fedarian Mathis does the better job of actually attacking the quarterback. But
Hmm.
Devontae White and Jordan Davis, I mean, they blew up the combine. These were big behemoths running in the 4.7s. Running faster than Patrick Mahomes. When they did the side by, I mean, they were running ahead. I mean, it's just amazing that these guys were
Hmm.
running as fast as they did. Travis Jones, to me, his stock is up for me, so I moved him up, and he looks the part, man. That Travis Jones, I mean, he looked the part at the Senior Bowl
Hmm.
in a fantastic combine space. So,
Yeah.
what do you take about the defensive tackles? Do you think the Cowboys will even consider one, or is it going to be the same old drought there?
I think first round probably not, depending on who's on the board. But I would say if there's a year that they're gonna do it in the first round, I would say this could be one of those years, man. Like, you have a guy in Dan Quinn who likes having those beefy defensive tackles,
Yeah,
um, which I think that you're starting to see that narrative change because they did a lot with the safeties. Like, regardless of how you feel on the safeties, they at least went and got guys, and I think that that changed this go around. I really like Fedarian Mathis. I've seen him in a lot of the mock drafts I've done go in the later rounds, which is great because I
yeah.
think for the value you're getting with it, like he's one of my pet cats outside of day one,
Oh yeah,
but I would love to see Jordan Davis in Dallas. I think that he is a phenomenal talent. And I mean, a lot of people like look at him and they're like, well, he didn't play a whole lot, so like you don't really know what you're getting. But
yeah.
like the fact is Georgia was beating the crap out of all those teams he didn't need to stay in, and when he made plays, like he makes plays, so he justifies that pick at 24 if he's there. But I doubt he's there because you know how the combine,
Oh
the
yeah,
combine does things. But everyone else on there. I agree with you there in terms of Travis Jones and also Leal as well. So
yeah. Good stuff there. The linebackers, the linebackers seem like they could stretch a bit too. From what we saw, um, Devin Lloyd, I thought he would have had a better combine, but I still can't ignore the film. The guy just knows how to
mhm,
play football. And Dean, I wish Dean would have played. I think he lost a couple $1 million by not participating here. Although I think he'll still
yeah,
go, in the first round and could go early, but
mhm,
I think he could have really gone crazy there. I mean, he's just very athletic. And then Key
yeah,
Walker from Georgia. You're talking about the Georgia guys. He looks very versatile to me, and he looks smooth out there with his hips opening up, the drills. You know, um, He just looks like he's ready. Like you said, the Georgia guys, they look like they're day one ready. Like you can plug and play these guys, and they're going to contribute right out the gate. And I really like that about Walker. Muma, I thought he did it. I thought he had a solid combine. Christian Harris really looked a lot better than I thought, and I don't know if I would move him up, but I like him here at 5. But
Mhm.
a really good linebacker. I mean, Alabama is like LBU pretty much. I mean, these guys
Well,
put out a lot of
besides
good.
Penn State, but sorry, I had to throw my Penn State guys out
No,
there.
that's
But
true. That's true. Penn State too. They do have really really good linebacker. You're right about that. Um, but yeah, any of these linebackers that stood out for you in the combine
um,
space?
so I will say, I know he's not on here. Brandon Smith from Penn State's a guy I would like to keep an eye out on in the
Yeah,
second round
good player.
because, yeah, he's a really good player, and I think that comes down to who else is on the board. I think this is the weird thing. I with Devin Lloyd, I would have liked to see him do something, but he's a weird. Like I think for me right now, I would say Dean is linebacker one for me, just how I feel because of how that Georgia defense just changed how I looked at some of these guys. And
Yeah,
and a lot of people like look at the linebackers and say, "Well, we just got a linebacker last year. Why do we need that?" But I think people are forgetting that Mike is just a weird hybrid. So you
no,
kind of have to allow him to free roam. You can't, you can't play him at one position. And what I mean by that is like, you got to let him do him. You can't just take away his strength. And I think if you're going to do that, I think Nakobe Dean would fit right in with what you're doing here. Chad Muma, really good pickup in round 2 if he's there.
yeah,
But I
absolutely.
just, that's what makes this so hard is because when you have a gap with a late round pick, it makes it hard to be like, do you take this guy? I wouldn't take Muma in the first round. That I'll tell you there. But Jacoby Dean's a guy I would not be upset with, or Devin Lloyd at all. Those are guys that if you could plug and play and they'll be just fine. Or Quay, Walker
Yeah,
as well.
yeah. I mean, that's a good point there. With Dean, and it's particularly what is the plan for Micah? Are they going to full time put him in the edge to pick up some slack? Depending on what I hope they don't. Myself, I hope they keep him in the role that he's been at, linebacker, get some snaps, and get after the quarterback. I really like how they used him last year. You know what I mean? How are you feeling
Mm.
about how the Cowboys are going to use him in year 2?
I think you got to keep using him like you used him this year. That's exactly how he was at Penn State, and I feel like playing him at line, like he'll still be fine. I think that he was a lot better with the coverage stuff than I thought he was going to be coming into the league, which is
Yeah,
cool, and that's great because that's stuff he could still learn. But again, for me, Micah is you kind of have to play him like a Von Miller esque type of guy that can drop into coverage every so often. I'm not wanting to have this guy play linebacker like a traditional like Sean Lee type of thing. Like not that he can't do it, it's because you're not getting the most out of that player, especially if
yeah,
you're trying
yeah,
to justify keeping him long term.
exactly.
And hey, he's one hell of an athlete, that's for sure. So let him keep eating. So
I mean, he just had an amazing. I mean, he blew away my expectations, and I think some of the narrative coming into the draft, I didn't see some of the stuff that they were saying about him as far as like you know issues or immaturities or crap like that. I didn't see none of that. So I'm like, sometimes you hear these narratives and you have to take it with a grain of salt. Sometimes, you know what I mean.
mm,
So I mean, amazing still. Uh, Cornerbacks space. Sauce Gardner backed it up at the combine. I mean, he was every
yes.
bit of what he is. And whoever gets him, I think they're gonna have a shutdown corner. McDuffie, I liked him. Roger McCreary, I really really like McCreary. I don't think the Cowboys will take him just on the measurables, but man, this guy can play, dude. I
Hmm.
really like him. Kyler Gordon, the Cowboys are there's a word there that they met there with him, so they like him. Obviously over McDuffie, and I think he's got a little bit more measurables than McDuffie.
Hmm.
But he's a guy to watch. Washington and Andrew Booth, who I still have him at 5, but I wish he would have been able to participate at the combine, and he didn't really get to get out there, obviously.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, for the cornerbacks, I'm going to just be honest. I have been kind of looking away primarily because I feel the Cowboys won't go with the cornerback. Because I feel like the Kelvin Joseph pick is kind of going to show why it was made. I think that what you could see is Anthony Brown gets cut for salary cap reasons, and you kind of move around with what you got there. Also, I'll be honest, I'm not really as high on this cornerback class as others, but you have guys that I like, and I have
Mhm.
no quarrel with what you have there at your list. Like, I know we mentioned what's his name, Stingley. Don't
Mm.
no,
Yeah.
I liked him at first, but then kind of as things went on and as I'm watching him, I'm like you mentioned all the time, and I'll say it there, Mo Claiborne all over again. It just reminds me so much of him. And it's not like Mo was terrible when he came out. It was just the way you play him is how it's going to dictate how he goes about it. But I'm more confident in the secondary, like the safeties in this class, than the corners. But
Yeah, let's
I
talk about
you still have
safety.
some guys, yeah.
Yeah, so looking at safeties, there's a lot of guys out here outside of my top five here. Like Hamilton, obviously, is my guy. That's my school there. I thought he did
Mhm.
good. I would have liked to see him run faster, but I mean, he's done everything that you want a safety to do. Just sideline to sideline. You know, I mean, he would fit perfect in Dallas with the measurables, but he'll be long gone. But Daxton Hill is getting some love here from the Cowboys. I met with him, so he's a guy. You talk about Anthony Brown possibly getting cut or whatever, and that could open some things up in the slot. And Daxton Hill could fill that nickel slash hybrid safety type of position, and there might be interest there for him. And Jaquan
Mhm.
Brisker, I've liked him for quite a long time there. That's one of your guys there, Space.
Yep. Hmm.
Yeah, tell us a little bit more about him because I know you watched him like every game, I would imagine. So,
Oh my
what's your
god!
take
Like,
on Brisker?
I mean, what's crazy with him is like I just imagine him with Micah, and that would be an awesome pairing. I think the one thing that he has the measurables that I will say he has the measurables that I would like in a safety. I think the
Yeah,
biggest thing for me is I don't like sometimes the way he takes angles. I know that's not, like those are like the cliches, but like there
mhm,
are moments where like the tackling becomes an issue, but tackling like those are things you can work on. I'm so like especially considering the fact that you're going to pair him with a guy in the secondary that you got to that connection there, and I think Micah would love to have him in there. And I think that's the key thing. You got to build this thing around 11, um, because he's your leader there. He's going to be your guy there for a long, assuming that they don't do some stupid stuff down the road. But the one thing though is, and this is I think the conversation you're going to have as the Cowboys, depending on how you're bored. I do not think Jaquan Brisker makes it to 56. So you're kind of like, do we take him at 24? And
mhm,
I wouldn't be upset with that, but it really comes down to who's on the board. I would not take him if you have a guard or if you have a linebacker over that. But if you told me, well, would you trade pick 3 to get him? Well, then we're having a different conversation. I think Jaquan Brisker is the guy that solves your safety problem. Or Daxton Hill. I
mhm.
mean, but then again, I'm going to be more biased towards my Penn State guys.
Yeah,
So,
no, he's definitely. But you're right though. Like I don't know if he would make it to 56, and where the Cowboys are at, it's almost like you have to draft around it earlier, right? So
mhm,
yeah, you're right. Who's there? And the
mhm.
guards, they may not be there. Those guys really balled out. Although, and we'll get to them here in a minute. But
Yeah.
Lewis Seen from Georgia, I mean, we just love these Georgia kids. That guy's smooth. He looked really good.
Mhm.
Kirby Joseph, I like him out of Illinois. I think he's physical,
Yeah.
can cover. Quarterbacks, we don't really have to talk about them because I don't think we're going to be in play for that. I mean, they might throw a late pick, try to do the
They
draft. Who
I
knows?
I do want to mention they did meet with Carson Strong, just
Yeah,
as a heads up. So keep Cowboy fans keep an eye on that because I like Carson Strong. I do like him. I think
yeah.
that the one issue I have is that damn knee, and I think that like when I watched him at Nevada. a lot of it came down, like, when I say this, I don't mean this in a bad way. I mean, like, he reminds me a lot of like a Drew Bledsoe, like strong arm, like
Yeah.
if you're looking for a pocket passer type of guy, which I'm not the fondest of them, but if you're looking for a good pocket passer, he could be that, but he has to go to the right situation. And I think that coming to Dallas, I don't know if that would be the best situation for him, but I do think his floor is low, I would say, and I think he needs to be like, if he goes like a not obviously Denver has Russell Wilson now, but if he went to a team like that, I wouldn't think that he would grow into that. But if you have a guy that you can develop, he would be the one. I would
Yeah.
really like him long term, but again, I don't think the Joneses would want to move on. And on top of that, I don't look at quarterbacks until this roster is fully built up to the point where I'm like, I want a quarterback.
Mhm.
That's just my personal opinion. So
Yeah, no, but that is true. They did meet with him in strong arm. I thought he threw a beautiful pass there at the combine. You know, he didn't. He was out there without the brace, so he kind of showed off that he's on the mend and this sorts of thing. But
mhm.
knees are so tricky. You don't know if this is a Sam Bradford type of deal where Sam Bradford came into the league with knee issues, and that crap flared up and kind of
Right.
derailed his career. So yeah, they got to
Mhm.
check that out.
Yeah.
Running backs space. I'm a proponent of taking one somewhere in this draft, mid rounder. I just think that we got to protect ourselves here. I mean, I'm not
Mhm.
saying that Zeke is completely washed up, but he's definitely not the same. You know what I mean? So, and
Right.
are they gonna force feed him? Where he's like 3 point something yards a carry and this sorts of things. So
Mhm.
lots of running backs. I mean, a lot that are not on my list here, but a lot that I'm really looking at that you could you could take. But did any running backs really step out in your mind space that you wouldn't mind adding somewhere in a mid rounder or lower?
Um, Cook and Spiller, spoke volumes to me before this whole combine. But Brees Hall, man, like, this is the thing that sucks. Is like with Zeke. Do I think Zeke is washed? Not really. I think that the thing with Zeke is that he's been and I put air quotes on this, relatively durable. Which, if I'm going to pay that guy kind of money, I need him to be available. But unless like he actually cannot play,
Yeah,
I think the biggest thing for Zeke is, and I've said this all this time, you need an efficient running back, not a guy that can, like, okay, you're going to just keep force feeding, like you said. And I think Zeke still has some, because like this year, and I saw it, and I might be just, maybe I'm just being a bit like overzealous, but Zeke had moments this year where it's like, okay, like it's not like he's completely garbage. I think that when that knee flared up, it definitely affected his play down the field, down the
Oh
stretch.
yeah,
I mean,
oh
because like
yeah,
he looked fine. Like I was like, okay, like I don't see a problem here, because it was really when the offensive line shuffle happened is when that running game really faltered. But I think that's going to be your game plan. If you feel like Zeke is going to stay around for a while, and you're not going to bring back Tony Pollard, which I would not. If the Cowboys pay Tony Pollard and Zeke, I'm going to lose my mind. But just churn and burn running backs. It's you can get any running back. Like I hate it when these teams pay running backs, especially if it's not like an Adrian Peterson type of guy, because they don't stay durable. Their shelf life is not as high.
oh yeah.
Um, so like for me, like I felt like the Cowboys were close to getting it years ago. Like, okay, you run DeMarco Murray into the ground, as much as that sounds so effed up to do, and then you go draft another guy, you run him in, like that's what you
Yeah,
do. But like that's how teams do it, and it works. And I think that um not to go on forever and ever, but there are like not even these guys, top five guys. You can get other guys like in plug and play.
yeah,
So
there really is. It's super deep. Like these are just five that are really stuck out. And my pet cat, obviously Kennedy Brooks, but I mean, it's very, very deep. So, you could go fourth, fifth. I mean, you could grab somebody to throw in the mix. You know what I mean?
mhm.
Because it'll definitely be Zeke. It'll be Pollard. I'm not sold on Clement. I'm not sold on Dowdle. He's too banged up. So give me another guy that maybe you could pass the torch possibly in year two, because by all accounts, Zeke's probably not going to be here next year. He's the next one that they're going to say, oh, we're cutting this guy. So
Yeah. I mean, unless Zeke, here's the thing, like unless he has an efficient year, which last year wasn't like, and when I say this, and people might disagree with me, it wasn't like the worst year I've ever seen from him, because the fact is Tony Pollard, like that 1-2 punch was something. And I think that like it was hard to gauge because like the first period, it was like he was doing fine. Like him and Tony were sharing count. So like I understood the dynamic.
yeah,
But if that's the dynamic going forward, that's cool. I get that. But you can't be doing this thing. And if Zeke's gone, it sucks to suck, but like listen, we can't be doing that crap again. Like unless you're paying a running back like $5 million, like I ain't paying $15 million for a running back ever, unless it's like like LaDainian Tomlinson level production. I ain't doing that.
yeah. It's gotta be like another generational type of guy. But yeah, I'm all for just doing what we do with DeMarco. I mean, like you said, and not to sound shitty, but I mean it is. The running backs have a short shelf life, like you said, and Zeke has reached that. I mean, they ran his ass off, and here we are. Wide receiver space. I think these guys really, took a step forward, and I think some of these guys may have actually, made their way back and solidified their way into the first round, which is good for us. If you're wanting different position groups, but it's possible that some of these guys might be there, and if it's a need space, there's going to be some options there. I really like what Chris Olave did. It's kind of like I think people forgot about him, but he's like, hey, I'm still here. I'm still here burning it up. Jahan Dotson, I think he's a great one there. I think this guy runs great routes and hands, and Alec Pierce, I think he's moving up. I thought he had a good one. Traylon Burks is going to be the weird one because he didn't have the most explosive combine, but the film is there. Now,
Right.
how they use him, that's where I get kind of like, I don't know. I just don't see Kellen Moore using him in this type of role where, people want to.
I think, yeah, CeeDee Lamb would be your more like I'm not, because like he's shown it. Like you see him do the jet sweeps, you see him do all this running back stuff, which, to be honest with you, you could get another guy like that. But like you said, Kellen Moore, he's not going to use him like that. I don't even think the Joneses would permit that. They'd be like, don't be doing that unless you're. But a couple other guys that I really like that aren't on the list. But like again, this receiver class is so deep. So, John Mechie is a guy that I understand the knee thing, the ACL thing is a problem, but he gives me a lot of mini CeeDee Lamb vibes because of that yak. And if he wasn't hurt, along with with I think Jameson Williams is the other character there, I think you could make an argument he would be in the first round because he's that much of a talent. Another guy would be George Pickens. He's a guy that I really like as well. I think that he's underrated. And Sky Moore. I think those are three guys you can legit get in round 2 and plug and play. Yeah. I would say Jameson Williams. Like I've had conversations with people, and they're like, "Well, would you take Jameson Williams if he's there at 24?" Well, talent, yes, but I don't know. I mean, like from all indications, it seems like the knee's fine, and it's one thing when it's a one-off thing, but I feel like you can get receivers in the second or third round.
Oh, yeah.
Like I already mentioned, 3 guys that like are going to probably be in the second round. Yeah. Sky Moore, it's Jahan Dotson. Oh my God, I would love to see him in Dallas, but again, like I think receiver becomes a need at 24 if you move on from Cooper and you don't do anything else. Because I don't know, like CD, I love CD. I think he can make that jump, but like, are you going to give him those targets? Are you going to give him the ball? Don't.
That's a really good point. Like that's what they did to Amari, right? So it's like it's a good point, and it needs to be talked about because if you do move him there, Kellen has to, wake up. Mike McCarthy did say that his number one goal is to be more involved, which it has to be because his job is literally on the line.
Yeah.
So hopefully,
Now,
we'll see that.
I will, and I don't want to make excuses for Kellen, but I did say, listen, Kellen's a young guy, and I don't think he's like really stupid. I think the problem is he needs to be taught. And I don't like this job on the job training. I'll tell you that I'm the first guy to not like it, but I think the problem is he's got a poor taste in his mouth. He had Garrett and Linehan telling him how to do things, and I think Mike can teach him a couple things. I mean, Mike has been in the league for so long doing this thing, and I'm not saying Mike is amazing, but like he has the teaching. Like I think that's what you have to do. Like if you want Kellen Moore to get better, you can't just let him flounder around and like because there are moments where Kellen looks brilliant, and then other times where you're like, what the hell? What are we doing? So I'm not trying to justify more or Kellen's inexperience, but like that is a point that needs to be made. Like he needs to get assistance, and if you're not going to help him, then let him go. I'm not wanting to wait to have this guy called. Like, no, I ain't doing that.
Yeah, for real, man. And it seems like he has started out strong the last two seasons, and then they just fizzle out, and it's just like, does he run out of plays or what the hell is the deal? You know what I mean? So yeah, I'm not a big fan of the training wheels and that sort of thing. Tight ends, like we mentioned, that space extending or giving. Obviously he's got Schultz has the tag, but they're still going to work on an extension. But for me, it doesn't preclude the Cowboys from taking another tight end. You know what I mean? Because Jarwin, I think we can agree he's probably done. McEwen, I think he could be another guy you continue to develop, but you still need a third one. So another deep class here, space, another deep class of tight ends. A couple, that really stood out in the combine. But are there any here that you really like, or anybody not on the list here that you think would be a good fit?
Otten, I think it's Cade Otten. I forget his first name. But yeah, I like him. I think, but the two guys I really like are Weidemeyer, who he's one of my top tight end guys. Rucker and McBride's like the ultimate, like you want everything in a tight end type of package. But I'm kind of like I could give a damn less. I need vertical threat tight ends, and Jalen Weidemeyer. I've liked him for a while now, and I would, like I said, I'd love to see him in Dallas. I mean, the Cowboys met with him, and like you said, and I completely agree. Just because you tag Schultz does not give you an excuse not to take a tight end. Yeah. And I think that the biggest thing, and even if you give him a long-term deal, because we don't know how McEwen's going to look. And I think, like, he showed glimpses of it. That would be awesome, if you can, because I like what he brings to the table. He showed it in the preseason. He showed it a bit during the season. But I'm sorry, I hate to see, like, Blake Jarwin, I feel so bad for him because it's like, hurt guys stay hurt. And unfortunately, listen, when you paid him all that money, he's only made 12 catches, like 100-something yards and 2 touchdowns in 2 years. Like, no. You got to let him go. Save $3 million and get a new guy.
Yeah, that's what it is. But yeah, from what I've heard, they've met with a lot of the tight ends. I know they met with most of these guys here. Kolar's another one, a little bit taller guy, but definitely a red zone threat, right? You talk about guys that get down the field. Greg Dulcich out of UCLA, they met with him. He's not on my top 5, but he's a guy that I think that that would be a good combo, with Schultz and Dulcich. Somebody that can really work the middle of the field, Dulcich down the field, red zone. So I won't stop at tight end. You know what I mean? Just because they have this deal in place with Schultz doesn't stop me. And if they don't, I think it's a bad move. They got to add another body there. Offensive tackles, a lot of these guys are going to be out of our range space, but even Penning, I think he probably worked himself into the mid, maybe first round. He's definitely a first rounder from what we saw at the Combine and Senior Bowl. A guy that I want to target here, Space, and I saw your video on this too, Bernard Ryman.
Yeah.
You and I like him, right? So he's very athletic, and I feel that he might be one of these guys that if he's there at the end, and if he doesn't make it to the second, they might pull the trigger there on him, somebody that can give you some versatility on the inside and outside. But
Mhm.
what is your take on offensive tackles or these types of guys for
Yes.
you?
So the thing is with a guy like Penning and even Ryman, like I would like them to play guard. Like when I look at them play, Penning. Here's the thing, like Penning, like he likes to maul people, but the problem is like when I would watch him, I don't think he's fit to be a tackle. If you're drafting Penning, you're getting a left guard replacement, and that'll be fine. I'm cool with that. Now Ryman, like I don't think he'll. I might be being too optimistic here. The reason I don't see him going in the first round is and I could be the only one hearing this. He hasn't been really talked a whole lot. He's going to be 25, so he's an older guy coming into the draft, and that's because if you don't know the backstory, anybody watching, he was born in Austria. He had to serve in the military, so he's going to be an older prospect. He used to play tight end, and now he's at. But he's a quick learner. He reminds me a lot of how not like Micah-esque, but like in the sense of like he learns quick. I mean, he's 6'7", 300 something odd pounds. I would love to have that type of build at left guard. Especially, it's like if you're going to have a guy there for 4 or 5 years, he's going to be that guy. I
Yeah.
love what he brings physically, and I mean, if it's like he does struggle with the technique and stuff like that, which again, like if it's teachable stuff, I'm cool with that. But if it's like you legit continue to struggle, that's another problem. But he's only been playing tackle for like 2 years, and he's already moved himself into the first 2 rounds. So the other
Yeah.
guys on top, I don't see him making it there, but I'll tell you this: if they make it there, I am I'm definitely pressing that. Like, yo, get this guy.
Right. No, I know, man. I mean, the draft is a weird thing, man. You just never know. I mean, we see people that fall way out,
Mhm.
multiple rounds, and you're just like, why? What's going on here? And then as the draft is going, you're finding out, oh, well, this happened, this and that, or medicals, right? Sometimes
Yeah.
medicals come into play, but Bernard Ryman is definitely a player to watch. Cowboys have interest with him. They met with him. So I think they really like the athleticism that he brings to the
Yeah.
table. The interior lineman space, they had a really good combine, in my opinion. Zion
Mhm.
Johnson really blew the roof off. Just looked like he's very polished. I was amazed how polished he looked at the combine. He
Mhm.
looked pro ready, what you want, right? And I
Yeah.
think that I think he leapfrogged Kenyon Green just on that. Just looking like really prepared. Really coached up and ready to rock. Tyler
Right.
Linderbaum, the center. I would love to have him. You know what I mean? I know people make a big deal about the arms, but they were talking, I think it was on the draft show today, that Coach Philbin actually has coached these shorter arm type of centers, and he
Right.
knows how to coach them up. So Linderbaum, I mean, dang, I would take. I mean, he's an upgrade. He's an upgrade over
Right.
what we have right now, and that's what you want, right? I mean, to
Right.
me, what we have right now, he's plateaued, right? So we're talking about Biadish has plateaued. I don't think he's going to get better. I think he is what
Mm.
he is right now.
Right. And I think with Biotish, like he's kind of like with the league averages at center, and like whether you
Mhm.
like that or not. I mean, and let's
Yeah,
be honest, we were spoiled with Travis Frederick, and we weren't expecting like average center play. We're like, oh, he needs. That's the thing is like for Tyler with what he's doing, it's like okay, he's doing. I'm not justifying how like he makes mistakes, but he's serviceable. But like you can definitely do better there. Tyler Linderbaum is a plug and play. He's going to be on your line for 10 plus years. Like he is going to be a hell of a player. I see Jamari Sailor. I've been picking him a couple times in my mock drafts in the second round. He's a good option in day 2. Kenyon Green, I like. I like him a lot. Now for Zion Johnson, I agree. He looks super polished. I know they were trying him out at center at the Senior Bowl, but I was like, and I kind of was talking with a couple friends of mine, and they were like, they were just doing that to kind of get a sense of what he can do. But
yeah,
Zion Johnson's a plug and play guy. I think Kenyon Green's a plug and play guy. I think Tyler, and that's what we need. You need a guy that can be like, listen, I'm drafting, and you can't go wrong with some of these guys at offensive line. Like you can take them, and you know that you'll be fine. But I don't want it to be a guy that you you reach for, or there's a better guy on the board. And I think the Cowboys have done a good job at that. They've evaluated talent well in the McCarthy era, and they've taken guys, best guys. Like they aren't afraid to reach a bit, but I've never seen them reach. Honestly, like I don't know about you, but I've never seen them reach in the last 2 years. Maybe like last year with a couple guys, but like, but like overall, they don't reach on their guys. So
Yeah, I think the one that stood out last year was Nick Sean, right?
Nick Chandler, I thought about it for a second. I'm like, wait a minute.
But no, you're right. Other than that, I mean, they have a pretty good track record, for the most part. But they do have some draft classes where they just didn't really go past a rookie contract, which is a shame. So ultimately, though, Space, I think I'm looking more at the interior, whether it's a center or guard. We talked about Ryman as a tackle, but I think they're going to give it another. I think they're going to run it back with Tyron again, and just keep,
that's
situation going.
Yeah, like that's not really. Here's the thing: like I'm not with Terrence Steele in this. Like it kind of helps because listen, to be honest with you, the Cowboys could really just move Lyle back to left guard. Have someone there, and then you're not pressing yourself to get a lineman. But like the thing is that the Cowboys are adamant they don't want to move Lyle, which I'm cool with. I'm cool with. You want to keep him there, that's fine. But like, with Tyron, here's the thing. I can understand it because the contract he has is so cheap for tackle. I can deal with it. Like if he misses 1 or 2 games, that's fine. Because but if that's the case, you need to have Terrence Steele ready to go at left tackle. Like because I'm cool. Like with Lyle, I like Josh Ball, for example, right? I want to see how well he does. Because for me, if your backups are cool, then I'm not worried about Tyron Smith. If he gets hurt, well, shit, that sucks. But like, at least you can keep the train rolling. I don't want to be moving everybody around.
Yeah.
That's what I don't want to. But I agree. I think the interior is specifically left guard and center are your most upgradable. I mean, you can argue anybody you can move around, but that left guard and center you definitely need to upgrade. 110%.
I think that's got to. For me, it's still the priority is O line. You know what I mean? So
right,
even with what happens with Amari and Law,
right,
because getting a defensive end at 24, it's rare that works out, right? So there's not a TJ Watt in every draft. So 24, you're kind of rolling the dice with whoever you take, or they're going to be still developing and more of a rotational player in year one. If you go that route. So lots of good interior guys too. More than what's on my top 5. I really like Ingram. I thought he had a fantastic combine. Green, I would have liked Green to be a little bit stronger. He pumped 20 on the 225, which was a little disappointing. Zion was like 32. I mean, he's just
like the biggest thing. Like, and I look at the combine. Like, part of it's like, okay, I get what I'm under. Like, I understand where they're at, but like, and this is kind of where like I only take the combine semi seriously is because Orlando Brown had like the worst combine I've ever seen, but he ends up being like one of the best tackles in the game. And it's funny because I actually wanted the Cowboys to get him, and everyone's like, he's terrible, but like again, like. The combine's good for understanding the measurables, but like I usually look at the film to tell me what I'm getting in a player.
That's what it is, bro. That's what it is. So great job covering the combine players and getting more names out there for you guys. Now on to close this thing out, guys. We're gonna do the mock draft here, 5-rounder, and you Space and I will talk about the prospects here as the draft goes through. So let's get this thing going, Space. Are you ready, bro?
Let's get this thing started.
All right, here we go. Come on, Thibodeau.
Okay.
Stingley is just one of those interesting ones.
I hope someone takes him. I honest to God hope someone takes him. That would be funny as hell.
Yeah.
the Eagles got back-to-back receiver. Oh my God, man, that's great. All right, let's see who we got.
Jermaine almost made it to us. That would have been
great.
Talk about there. So let's see. Let's take a look here again. So Booth, Olave, man, that's too bad.
I'm sorry. The Eagles make me laugh, man. Like, oh my god, that'd be hilarious.
But you know
Two
what's crazy is like they've been drafting wide receivers for several years and just missing.
I mean, like this, I would not be shocked if the draft play. I do disagree with the Steelers one. I think they would take Kenny Pickett there. I honestly feel like they would take
Yeah,
a quarterback. There's
no,
no way they
yeah,
will take.
it's true because they already lost out on Russell, and obviously
And
uh,
Aaron Rodgers is going
Aaron
back.
Rodgers. So really, the only ones that are out there, maybe Deshaun Watson, but that's risky because he's dealing with the civil and criminal stuff. So
Right.
I don't know
But
anybody else
I
that they might be able to get.
yeah, like so who do we got on the board at every so I know I could see you got some linebackers. I didn't see Nakobe Dean or Devin Lloyd go unless I was blind. Um you got some linemen.
Let's see.
Um
Lloyd is
cuz
gone.
let me
Hamilton, Gardner. So it looks like Dean is still out there. Let's take a look and see who we got out
let's
here.
see. So you got some options at inside yeah. So you got Zion Johnson, who I think would be an awesome pick. But this is the thing: in the Pro Football Focus drafts, he's not highly regarded, which is weird. Like in the Draft Network, he's like in the top 25. Like he'll go in the top 25, which is more realistic.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
You know
but hey,
this is another name that I really liked at the combine space was
mhm,
this Dylan Parham.
right.
He looks smooth out there, and that's the guy that can give you
I
flexible
didn't
and
see
guard.
Jordan Davis get taken. Am I mistaken? Did Jordan Davis not get taken? I'm shocked in this situation.
Let's
Like,
take a look, man. I like to change it up. You know what I mean? Like
yeah, like,
one month,
okay,
I wouldn't mind. Like what would let's see?
there,
There he is. Both
there,
of them.
I mean, shit. Like, this is hard because it's like you have so many options here. Like, honest to God, I wouldn't mind trading back here. Like, I would not mind trading back at all because you could still probably get a good player. But obviously, we're not going to do that.
Mhm.
I don't know, man. I mean, like, I have said, and I mean, in my last two mock drafts, I have taken Jordan Davis because of how the drafts typically go. But I mean, who else? I mean,
So we
we
got
looked at the
Jordan
guards.
Davis. We got both guards are there. Let's see the wide receiver. They got
Let me
kind of wiped out.
let me look at the contracts too, because I'm trying to keep it. Yeah, like
Pickens. I
my
would go with Pickens, but I wouldn't take him there in the first.
I guess my argument would be at defensive tackle. How well do you value Neville Gallimore and Osa? And do you bring back Brent Urban? Because if you do, I think you could justify it. But this is tough, man. Like I've never had these this many options.
I mean, I think
Um,
he's a bit of a game changer just because of the speed. You know what I mean? I
mhm.
just don't see him as being a bust. You know what I mean? His work ethic is top notch. I mean,
Here's
you see how he is with the teammates.
I would say like best player available. Like I don't know. We need a very athletic, straight up gonna maul you defensive tackle that has speed. And I think, I mean, I'm not sure where you're feeling. I mean, what would you do? Because for me, I would lean maybe towards Jordan Davis in this situation.
Yeah, and honestly, I've done a couple of these myself, and I do like to change it up. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I hate always picking Zion because honestly, I really do think that he's not going to be there, man. I really think that he did a lot and showed a lot, and he might be the first guard taken. I mean, I could be wrong, but guards of that caliber, that polished, they usually don't fall all the way to 24.
At the
So.
same time, I think for me, the one reason I would that's the thing. I really like Kenyon Green, but like I have gone on the record and I said, God damn it, if Jordan Davis is there, he has like I mean
I'd say
because
Yeah, I say we do it. I say we take him
Okay.
and just see what would that draft look like. What would the draft look like if we went the big man, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then we figure it out.
Go
So
for it.
let's take Jordan Davis
Let's
there.
go. Yeah. Let's see.
And NFC East quarterbacks are shivering in their pants as the draft goes through, man. Yeah.
I mean, hey, I think someone in the comments mentioned it. Who was it? Someone said it like it makes life easier for your linebackers, and I completely agree with you.
Mm-hmm.
So
It really does. You can roam sideline to sideline. Maybe you even bring back LVE, a cheap ass
right,
deal if you want. I know some people don't like to hear that, but
all right.
Cowboys are cheap. I mean, they're cheap. If there's a cheap deal to be had, they will do it.
All right,
Mm.
so
Second
let's
round.
start. I would say let's look at the linemen. Who do we have available?
Let's look at the interior. See who's available. Parnham's there.
I'm trying to think. Like, say to myself, could I justify holding?
I think you probably could. Ingram is there.
I would
Yeah.
probably. I would say you at this point you would either got to go linebacker or wide receiver. I'm more inclined to say receiver, especially if like you even if you keep Cooper and Lamb, you still need someone else. And well, they brought back Noah Brown, which I got to adjust on here, but you still got to.
Yeah. I think from
Um,
these guys, I like Alec Pierce from here or Tolbert, Sky Moore. I see a lot of that. I just, you know what I mean. Oh, you know what I like about Mechie too. Now that we're talking about that, is that
uh-huh.
he's a really good route runner. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Yeah, and he reminds me a lot of CD Lamb. Like CD, like he has all those weapons. And I think that's the big thing with Mechie is like that's what I like about him. And I think that in a lot of my mock drafts, Sky Moore goes in the middle second round. And like, God damn it, if he's there, I've never taken him in any of my mock drafts. And I've said now the Cowboys do like Jalen Tolbert and Christian Watkins or Wilson,
Watson,
the
yeah.
guy from. But
Mhm.
I really love Sky Moore. There he is, Christian Watson. There it is. This is kind of how I view it. If you don't take a receiver here, I think you kind of have to do it in the third round. But um, I really like Sky Moore here. I think he's the best. I mean, is he? I think grade wise he is, and I think based off of what else you got on the board, I think you should take him. Honest to God.
Yeah, let's change it up. I haven't drafted him either. For
Mm-hmm.
this, let's go wide receiver. Let's go Sky Moore there.
Mm-hmm.
And let's head to the third round, bro. Like this is getting juicy.
Yeah. So I'm kind of looking at tight ends and line, like more so like my linemen.
Yeah,
Who
I think
makes it there?
this might be where we get our guard. If Ingram is there, oh, there went Parnham.
For
I
him. You
like
might
him,
see a
man.
run, yeah.
There went
Sure
Mechie.
has Geometry. So we're coming up on pick 88.
There went Ryan Pierce.
Come on. Oh, come on. There we
Still,
go.
all right.
So he did make it. I was looking at Jamari Sailor too, so like those two guys. But I think this is where you gotta take. You gotta take him. If is he there? Where's he at?
There's
There he is.
Ingram.
I mean, you kind of like it. If that happens, there's no way he goes into the fourth round.
Yeah,
But
I'm
like,
taking Ingram right here.
yeah, you gotta take him.
I'm
Like,
running to the. Yeah, I'm running.
I will
to
say,
the
Alec Lindstrom is a nice center prospect. If you're
yeah.
kind of looking for like someone in the late rounds, but I think you go with Ingram here.
Yeah, Ingram was good. This Luke Wattenberg, he looked good in the. I didn't watch tape on him because I really liked Wattenberg at the combine. He looked smooth, so I'm gonna study up on him. But Ingram in the third, I think, is a steal.
Oh, easily. I think that in like because I like looking at I always reference the Draft Network because they are usually the most accurate when it comes to a player's value, and he goes in the second round. Like there's that's why
this weird. The simulators are just kind of whatever. But
so I'm probably thinking either safety or linebacker at this point.
Fourth round, yeah. Let's see. So
or running back.
Let's see.
Calvin Austin's a guy I would keep an eye out on too. That's for sure. He's a nice list. So let's take a look.
Calvin
Um,
Austin out of Memphis, right? And Cowboys did meet with him, so that's another good little receiver there, an upgrade over what we had with Switzer.
Zonovan Knight. That's a name that I've liked too.
Which one?
He's a Zonovan Knight, or is it Zonovan Knight? There, Zonovan. He's a quiet name I'd keep an eye out on, but like he's kind of like a late round guy. Yeah, this.
Let's look at.
I would look at
linebacker. Michael Jackson, Michael McFadden, Sanborn. He's there. Lineman, Butler. Yeah,
this is where
fourth round linebackers. You get a little wiped out, right? So.
Yeah, like
Sanborn.
this is kind of where like I'm banking on you bringing this is where I'm banking on the Cowboys to bring back. Well, Jabril Cox is still going to be here, which again, depending on how that ACL injury heals, you're probably going to bring back Francis Bernard, and I'm kind of looking at do you bring back LVE on a cheap deal? And it kind of lessens the blow, but I still think you need to get someone cheap in here.
Yeah, no, it's definitely possible. Definitely possible. Nick Fox is a good safety to look at.
I think I've heard the name of Smoke Monday, but I haven't gotten the chance to fully take a look at him. So
Trey Sterling, I think, was a name. I want to say there was some connection there. I'm not sure.
I mean,
tight ends. Who's the tight ends here?
Yeah, I was gonna say this is where it gets hard.
Tight ends. Let's see here. We got tight ends. Derek D. There's Dulcich. There's the
Jake Ferguson.
There's Kolar. Jelani Woods looked really good. He's another tight end that looked badass, and he's got a lot of power. Tight end stretch is pretty good, but fourth round might be where you may have to go because I don't know. Some of these guys might make it to 5. What are you thinking? What are you feeling here?
I'm kind of feeling. I don't know.
Do you want to get
sorry?
Another...
Oh wow! Sorry, I just 2 minutes ago, Bobby Wagner just got cut.
Uh-oh. There he is. That's the.
There we go. Oh wait, we forgot. We got Stephen Jones. He ain't paying that. Listen, I wouldn't give a shit if he's the only free agent we pick up. Then I don't have to worry about. Then I'm not gonna worry about that. This is the thing. As much as because this is I'm just trying to think and kind of logically look at it. If the Cowboys, I'm not cool with that linebacker room. I want to make that clear.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm kind of looking at my notes, but I'm trying to say to myself, well, at this point, who's the best player on the board? Honest to God, who would be the best player? I mean, some of these guys, I'm not thinking they're going to be starters, to be honest with you. You're kind of just where can you get depth and good depth or rotational players? So,
Milker, Fortner, no, Cross. Well, let's go.
Can we check? Yeah, can we check running back? Let's see what we got at. Because I would consider taking a running back at this point.
Yeah, running back in the fourth would be the sweet spot as well. You got Rashad White. Some people like Devontae Price there. Zamir White's good. Kennedy Brooks, obviously.
I would. Those Oklahoma running backs and that's the thing. Knight. Where did I have him? I think I had him as one of the top. I think I had him at 7 or 8 running back. But then again, I'm not looking for oh my god, can this guy I'm looking for a cheap guy that I can run him downhill. And I think that.
What about the other guy we were looking at? He might be. What was his name? Oh, did he already go? Our Memphis kid. Is he already gone? Somebody already snatched him.
This is tough. I mean,
somebody already took Calvin, bro.
I'm curious. Let's see what linemen we have. Like, is there any justification to double dip at lineman at
D-line?
tackle? Or no, at
Oh,
offensive line.
offensive line.
No,
Okay.
you're good. Hey, listen.
Let's look at interior.
Because like, if I'm being completely like, I'm looking at this, we don't really have. I mean, besides Farniak, which I like him, but like at the same time, like how comfortable.
See, this is where I would consider Lindstrom.
That's kind of what I was thinking. I'm thinking with Lindstrom, what do you do with him? Like, do you?
See, I think he can give you flex at guard. I think he's a center
That's what
that
I'm
can give you
saying.
flex
Like,
at guard.
I haven't seen him play unless I like missed something. But I would think Lindstrom would be a nice pick here. But it's just hard when you get into the fourth and later because I'm looking for backups, not
Yeah.
guys that I'm like, oh, this guy's gonna be, because I'm not gonna kid myself. I don't know. I think that you kind of have to get some reassurance in the interior, and if it were me, I would not. I mean, maybe I'm just trying to talk myself into the pick because I don't know about anything else, but I'm kind of going with what I know. I would probably take him.
Yeah, I like Lindstrom here. Take him and give you that
Let's go with
flex.
that because I mean, the biggest thing I'm looking at is big picture. I need to kind of, because Connor McGovern, his contract's coming up, and obviously he's not going to be back, and he's disappointing me as a Penn State guy because I felt like he had the build, but like obviously I don't know what the hell's wrong with him, but
Yeah, that's been one that was kind of like, man, did he already
but I want to.
reach his ceiling?
Right, and I want to stress the reason I'm not worried about a tackle was Josh Ball. Like Josh Ball's a guy that like I think he gives you good backup depth.
And I did hear that Josh Ball, if you threw him into that Senior Bowl, that he would have been one of the top guys there. So
Right.
hearing that gives me some assurance. So I think it's a guy that they really planned on him to be a red shirt. Maybe they just wanted to let some of the off field stuff kind of.
Because if I'm the Cowboys, I'm re-signing Terrence Steele on a cheap deal as a backup.
They need, see, now that's where they need to do that ahead of time. If they do that crap where like they usually do, they're totally screwed.
Right. Here I would look at running back, or maybe a nice little safety or edge, or unless you want me to go crazy, say the punter. Because again, like,
do they have punters here? Let me see. Oh, they do have special teams. Yeah, let me see. I'm just curious if they have.
I'm curious where they're graded because I haven't really.
This is the guy right here.
That's the guy I really love, and I'm going to tell you this right now. I don't care what anyone tells me. I would not be upset if they took a punter in the 5th round because he's one.
And the thing about this guy was not only is he a punter, but he can kick the field goals from 70 yards out. Did you see that? That was crazy, bro.
I was like, what the fuck am I? I'm like, holy shit. Yeah, because here's the thing. Like, if you're not, and people were saying, well, why do you draft a punter? Same reason why you would like think about it this way. If you want to be full on cap boy mode, why would I pay a guy like all that money for $2 million? Again, I'm not trying to get on Brian Anger's thing, but like I want a young guy, and I think that I might be I know people are going to call me crazy, but dude, you're getting a punter that's going to be a young guy for 4 years who's going to be solid for it. And guess what? Like, the way I look at it at this point, I'm just looking for guys that in special teams that I know can plug and play. And, I don't think...
He'll open up a roster spot for you too, Space. So you don't have to carry a place kicker and a punter. He does both. That's what's cool about this guy is that he's a big weapon.
I would, and I know people are mentioning it in the comments, but field position is huge. And I agree. And I think that that's what wins you games. And I think if John Fossil really wants you to, like, if he's really big on that, you know what, Joe, I'm going to be honest. Like, I'm not saying this because he's there, but like, I would not be, I wouldn't be upset with the punter in the 5th round.
Yeah, let's change it up. Let's do it. Mm-hmm. He might be one of the better players available there. So.
Oh, he could probably be there in the 6th round, maybe. But like, again, like, he has a lot of
But you got to
And
get
again,
through all these comp picks. So yeah, when you get into these later rounds like this, it's comp pick city all over the
um,
place.
yeah, like this is where I'm kind of like,
So we got two
but
fives. Is that right, or was that our? Yeah, we
yeah,
got
we
two
do have
fives.
2 5s this year, so
Okay, so we can
I would
probably.
take like a running back or
Yeah, I
a
think
safety
running back would be
is there.
something to look at.
Would I think Brooks is way too early. I think you can get him later in the 6th round if we were going 6 rounds, but
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know.
Haskins is a
I
big
haven't looked
running
at
back.
I haven't looked at these guys, so I couldn't tell you.
Devontae Price possibly would probably stick out to me. I don't want to be a
Um,
homer and get Brooks.
can we take a look at tight end? Let's take a look at tight end real quick.
Yeah,
Or wait,
let's take a look here. This is the thing I don't like about PFF. Like you gotta
yeah, like
click
this
back
is
and
annoying
forth.
as shit.
I
Not
would
a
take
whole.
a tight end here.
Honestly,
You got
I
Turner, you got Woods.
um I've heard good things about Turner, but again, like I said, I don't take so much into the stock of late guys because again, like if you're taking a guy here, he's your tight end 3, and you're kind of
I think we'll go Jelani Woods here because
let's go with that.
this
Yeah,
guy
because
can block, he can catch. That guy's a beast. So
all right, let's.
this is a beautiful draft. Changed up, different prospects. That's what it's all about.
They're giving us an F for that Ed Ingram. Man, they're walling for that.
Their simulators
That's
off.
bullshit.
They're behind. Jordan Davis, monster. Sky Moore, yes. Ingram, yes. Lindstrom. I love this because you address the interior. You protect
Right.
yourself and you address it. Yeah, this is strong.
Yeah, and again, like if you and this is kind of the big thing, like, and I said this on one of my videos. Releasing Amari Cooper tells me you're going into a soft rebuild, and I said if you're gonna do that, you got to do that now. If you're going into a soft, which I hate that because you got years with the quarterback, and you kind of need to like do it now. But I think
Yeah,
that what this helps you is you continue to build and like well, you're probably not going to. Well, here's the thing, and I think that this is a common misconception people have is when we're like down on the team, we're not saying that they're going to be garbage, right? Like, and I'm not implying you're saying that, Joe, but like they have the 4th easiest schedule next year, right? They play in the NFC East, which will be tougher depending on what they do, and the fact is, with the 7th seed, I can see this team winning 9-10 games even without Amari Cooper right now, assuming you bring back Gallup. I mean, I'm not worried about any of I'm not worried about like the Cowboys being a terrible team. I think where I see people being justified in their fear would be you're not going to be a contender unless like you're that good. Like unless like you hit on all cylinders.
yeah,
That I understand. But
yeah,
they'll be
yeah.
a solid team, which I could care less about we want to contend, but think about it. We haven't won the division back to back since 95, 96. We haven't made it back to the postseason back to back years since 07, 06, 07. I think if McCarthy really wants to set his tone, get us back to the playoffs, win a playoff game, and then I'm buying into that because if you get to the playoffs again, I mean he's doing something Garrett never did.
Yeah.
So
That's what we want, right? As
mhm,
much as a lot of fans feel down on the team right now because of what's happening with the cap,
mhm.
it's salvageable. But they gotta hit on the picks and they gotta, have some decent guys that you can have a rotation. If you're not bringing back a lot of these guys, so I like these picks. Very
Mhm.
interesting indeed. I think you address a lot of the needs here and different. You know what I mean? It's not the same old. And I think
Yeah.
that's what you got to do with simulators is go through scenarios. You know what I mean? Like I did one where I went offense the first 4 picks, and it shaped up to be very
Yeah.
interesting. So
Yeah, I'm kind of taking a look at my notes because I keep track of all my mock drafts to see like is there a trend, and I think the biggest trend that I've seen is all the guards and tackles go.
yeah,
I think the tight ends you can like. I mean, I got Jalen Weidemeyer in the 3rd round, which is an amazing get, but like, and I got Barnhard Ryman in the 2nd. That's kind of, but like, I don't think that's gonna happen. But a lot of it just comes down to where teams and with the trades that just happened,
Yeah.
especially with the Broncos and the Seahawks. Like, that's great because they're going to need a quarterback. They're going to need a lineman too. But like, if you like Jordan Davis, if you like some of these guys, you hope that the quarterbacks get taken. And even if the receivers aren't there, but Joe, and I think this is the most important thing that we can come out of this is we're not pressed to take a certain someone at 24. I think that that's what's cool about where we're at as a roster. You can literally go anywhere and you'll be fine.
Yeah, that's what it is. It gives them flexibility. And I think with the free agency, that's just more of what they do. Just fill the holes with, the clearance guys.
Yeah.
And upgrade, and hope that you can hit on somebody. Like who
Right.
could be this year's J-Ron Curse? That's what they're going to be looking for. So, hopefully we can find some more gems.
That's great. So I think this is awesome,
bro. Yeah, so that's it for tonight, guys. Very interesting. We got all the conversation here going here as far as the news. Talking about the combine, obviously, and the mock draft to close it out. So, man, shout out to everybody in the chat box that stood with us here. It was a good one. It was a long one, but it was very informative, obviously. And I appreciate my guy, Space, joining us tonight. Space, let everybody know where they can find you, bro.
Yeah, you guys can follow me at Space Cowboy 17 on YouTube and at now they just changed the handle, Space Cowboy 17 in Roman numeral on Instagram and Twitter. You'll get all my stuff there, reactions, all that other stuff. Keeping it real the best way I can, but also not being like super down. Like, I know I get angry and like it's justifiable, but
me too, man. Trust me.
I like but I want to, like, as my closing remark, Cowboy fans, the team is not god awful. I think you're going to see the team go from like a 12-5 win team to maybe like a 10-7, which isn't terrible because we haven't had consistency there. And I think that is what we're looking for. Can this team in year 3 of the McCarthy project get a good roster that we continue to feed, get the Garrett guys out? And that is going to be a big year. What do you do in year 3? Like, if we win a playoff game and we're close to like I don't want to, the Sean Payton thing, like, that's going to be the biggest pain in the ass. And I feel so bad for McCarthy. Like, McCarthy isn't the best coach, but he's solid. And I think that if you get you to an NFC Championship game, you're going to fire him for Sean Payton? Like, no. But again, I'm not saying we're going there until I see it.
We won't, but these other guys might. That's what scares the crap out of me, is like, I do not want to give draft picks for Sean Payton. If it comes to that, that scares me, man. That's what scares me.
Gotcha.
But yeah, great work, Space. Appreciate everybody. And,
not a problem.
We'll catch you for the next one, guys. Peace out.
Have a good one.
Yeah, bro.
On one side, but that guy on the other.
Winning ways, bro.
Yeah.
Winning ways.
Yeah, exactly. And that's my big thing is, hold on. Jesus Christ.